Hey, this is Ciderhelm, and welcome back to Pro Playbacks. We're going to look at the final critical team fight in the second North America vs. Europe All-Star match. More specifically, we're looking at the Doublelift Penta Kill on Ezreal. Before we get into the fight, there's a couple things to point out. Jace has done exceptionally well in terms of damage. He's been able to easily burst down opponents in one-off situations. In this exchange with Nautilus, where he doesn't quite net the kill, but he also doesn't burn anything too major, keep in mind that Nautilus is running an extraordinary amount of armor and he's still just being shredded. The casters left the impression that Ezreal could not be chased down to his excellent kiting potential, but Jace is clearly capable of doing this, and in this jungle clip, we see Ezreal needing to burn Flash in addition to his arcane shift just to get away. So even though Jace didn't burn Flash to pursue, it's clear there's a huge threat of Jace catching up to Ezreal in any of these fights. As we catch up to our team fight, Europe is actively engaged on Baron. This is a very dangerous maneuver, and we've touched on it several times in the Pro Playback series already. Let's look at how the fight initiates. At the start of this fight, Renekton and Nautilus have gone straight into Europe's back line. Jace has a relatively short attack range and relies on Shock Blast for long-range damage. This means that his damage can be largely blocked off from squishier members of North America with this body blocking from Nautilus. Varus did drop his ultimate onto Nautilus, though it was midway through a hook and it did not prevent him from moving in. His Chain of Corruption will only immobilize Nautilus and Renekton, both of whom can survive the damage, especially with the Nautilus ultimate that just knocked up Jace and Varus. Europe has engaged with both Zac and Jarvan directly into the back line. Their goal is to lock down Karthus as quickly as possible, as he represents a huge zone threat that prevents a close-range teamfight. Ezreal is effectively ignored here. He's going to keep getting damage out on targets of opportunity, and his slows will help force Europe to stay in Karthus' AoE damage. Though Nautilus and Renekton were able to back off, Zac and Jarvan have had a much more difficult time due to the sheer number of slows, including Thresh's ultimate. And Karthus is still alive, in part thanks to his activation of Seraph's Embrace. Though he's about to go down, he's managed to get a ton of damage out that will directly lead to Ezreal's first 2 kills. North America has a 6th member of their team, and this is Baron Nashor. While Baron is engaged, he will attack the closest enemy to himself, and these attacks have primarily been directed towards Europe. Like Ezreal, Jace really hasn't had to go head-to-head with anyone, but normal attacks from Baron have been bringing his health down, and this will be important. One more thing, Ezreal can very quickly lay down more damage, but Jace relies on more deliberate Shock Blast casts for his long-range damage. He's just field goaled the Shock Blast, and this is a big chunk of Europe's potential damage gone. Varus has moved into a very aggressive position in an attempt to bring down St. Vicious and push their perceived advantage. With Jarvan blocking him, he's fairly safe from Ezreal's damage, but he's not accounting for Karthus' post-death damage in the form of his lay waste bombs. Between this and Karthus' ultimate, he's going to lose most of his health right off the bat. Let's look at a couple things here. Ezreal was able to reposition here by using Arcane Shift over the wall. As with other blinks, using it over walls at the right position lets him move further with it than is possible in open terrain. Now for Jace, he's fired a second Shock Blast, and again this is going to field goal. Because of the current health of everyone on blue team, I'm almost certain this fight would have gone much more in Europe's favor had one or both of these Shock Blasts landed. But this isn't actually the big thing that matters here. When I brought up that Jace is able to catch up to Ezreal despite Ezreal's mobility and kiting potential, this is exactly where it's important. Jace has Flash, Ezreal does not. Lulu has Flash and can polymorph and slow Ezreal, as well as shield Jace. And Varus is about to revive from Guardian Angel with his Flash as well. If Europe wanted to win this teamfight, they needed to go onto Ezreal and outplay him. If they were on their game, they would have won. The rest of this fight is cleanup. There's just too much crowd control to prevent any serious takedowns. Alex Each needed to carry his team and he didn't. He did a fantastic job through the game and he's obviously a very skilled player, but what happened in this teamfight lost them the game and ultimately left them in last place in the All-Star matches. That's a risk any team runs when they invest so much into a single player. I will say it's possible that he may not have been able to kill Ezreal in the end due to his low health, but this comes down to the ridiculous situation of engaging Baron, then letting Baron continue attacking you. The only other serious damage he ever took was from Karthus' ultimate. Doublelift deserves a lot of credit for his incredible plays throughout all of the matches so far. It's hard not to come out of the All-Star matches without a better impression of him. But in this particular team fight, Doublelift was left almost completely free, and his team really deserves so much credit for it. And one person that needs to be recognized is Skara playing Karthus, whose damage critically injured every single European player except Lulu. Thanks for watching Pro Playbacks. Stay tuned for more All-Star coverage, especially as we jump into the Asian teams.